Previously on Kimba TV. Take note of this, because this will happen many, many times. The way you know that a trident is actually doing its Gucci is this gets turned into support, which increases the probability of getting a higher high. This is already going to be a cascade of stop losses. You already have single prints right there. So bulls, all you really need to do is turn that golden pocket into support. Bears, knock that bitch out and you're going to get 65.5. I think it's pretty straightforward. Good morning, y'all. How we doing? Morty says gold juice and quit playing with me. Too easy. Too easy. A juicy, a juicy, a juicy, a juicy, a juicy, a juicy. We juicing. Come on. Little Retail says, I'm starting to think long in the 64.5 area is better than 65.5. Make sure you get caught up. So if the 65.5 doesn't work, there's no long to be had until 62 for me. 64.5 is actually a worse long than 65.5 because you lack confluence. Yeah, so we actually went over that for the last couple weeks, Little Retail Trader, if you want to get caught up on the YouTube highlights. Yeah, do you remember why it was 2-3 weeks ago that we said 64 to 65? Do you understand why it moved up from 65 to 66? So a lot of you guys were asking, am I going to TP my shorts at 65.5? I don't know. I still have my TPs for last night's short, but the 69.5 short, we might just let that bitch run all the way to 62. Yeah, so in my opinion, 64.5 is actually a worse area because you lack confluence. You do have bottom shorters starting to pile in, which is great. Yeah, for me, if 65.5 really doesn't work, then it's gonna probably go to 62. Schwiggity! But that's why, you know, we do that thing, right? Wazzo says, how did you find 65.5? Make sure you get caught up on the YouTube. I don't want to bore everybody. We've gone over it so many times, Wazzo. Confluence, basically. So TPO, untapped point of control, previous week, equilibrium, VWAP. All right, Wazzo. But it's been tracked for about 3 weeks now. So make sure it's all in the YouTube highlights if you want to. All right, but TPO, point of control. Even Wazzle, even things like CME, pixel fucking that, and then that creating the foundation for us to pull the fib from that wick, you know, makes a difference. So if you like missed this level and why we had this level and the reaction and the analysis that we did here, it might not make sense. You got to be able to follow along. All right, Wazzle, but yeah, basically fib, equilibrium, TPO, point of control, VWAP, lots of confluence. Yeah, you know what that tells me? You didn't pay attention to the stream yesterday, and you certainly did not watch the YouTube highlights. Here's the thing, Freshly Faded. Do you think your brothers and sisters asked that already? Do you think that out of the 1,000 viewers, that 900 viewers that we average on a daily basis, do you think anybody else asked that already? So yeah, we went over it pretty much every single day, but we even got to see like a live example of it too, Freshly, probably like a trident. All right, so don't take the first wick, and we don't know what kind of time frame it's going to be on. Do not take the first wick. Second one is going to make the lower low. The third one should make a higher low. That's the structure you're looking for. It could be on the 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute. We don't know. Okay, we also talked about open interest and what we would want to see. We want longs opening. We want, we want shorts opening. We want longs closing. Open interest is good. Do you see any sort of divergence, brother? Do you see a divergence from anywhere? Do you see a divergence from anywhere? Alrighty. Freshly faded, make sure you get caught up. We talked about open interest, we talked about structure, we talked about CVD, and we talked about it multiple times throughout the whole week. All right, exclamation YouTube. You could have known 3 days ago. You didn't have to ask today, I guess is my point. Andy, what's going on? Maybe Band-Aid says, did that 16 mil guy get knocked out? Yeah. Yeah, 13, 4.8, 21 mil, 13 mil. Yep. So Guru says you just take a profit of short at 65.5. So Guru, make sure you rewind and watch the highlights. Come on, So Guru. You're literally the 10th person that has asked me if I'm TPing my shorts at 65.5, brother. Yeah, I'm going to shave a little bit, but for the most part, I'm not trying to juice on the short. These are hedge shorts for longs. Okay, so Guru, so yeah, I'll shave a little bit, but I'm holding the shorts so that I can I didn't TP my long from 55. I didn't TP my long from 58. I didn't TP my long from 62. I didn't TP my long from 64.3 at 69.5. You understand, So Guru? That is why I took a big short at 69.5. And I've been adding. Did you see how I shorted this even last night? I mean, I shorted. I'm only doing that because I haven't TP'd any of my longs. All right? And if you get caught up, that's been the plan for months. So I'm going to continue to keep longing. I'm bullish for this year and next year. And any sort of pivot point at like 69.5 or whatever, I will get into hedge shorts. Okay, so Guru, so just make sure you get caught up. All right. Mark says, looking to juice on a short, would you say is a bad approach having all these shorts opened? Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were here for it, but like the most recent easy short is right here. Did you see my entry for the MEXC one? So anytime that you are range bound and you fake out and you go back in, you're usually going to rotate to the other side. So if you wanted to short, having it break out and then I mean, my entry is literally that blue line. So yeah, I wouldn't short now. I think it's a little bit too late. Arrow says, when do you generally expect a bullish trend turning bearish and vice versa? Price structure, basically. Arrow says, for example, this leg up from 60 to 69K, what level does it need to hold? 65.5. Yeah, so when you have a big move like this, well, if you can't hold 65.5, you're probably going to come back down to 62 again. You're going to give all of this back. So it's got to be like right here, like this zone. or you're probably going to come all the way back here. You're going to give the whole move back, basically, arrow. Mo Guy says, in that same short. Nice, nice, nice. I know a bunch of you guys took it at the same time as I did, so I mean, pretty just basic math. Invalidation on a higher high, not too crazy. Mars Bike says, I think at this point we need to have highlights playing while you're not live. Well, yeah, the thing is, Mars Biker, I don't know what each person doesn't know. And so, yeah, try to figure out what it is that you want to learn or do better, and then just focus on that every single day. Heyblade says, Arrow Fury, I want you to watch the November 10th highlight. Ooh, nice, 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 nice. November 10th or October 10th? Arrow Fury says, wasn't around for it. I tried longing the trend line breakout before actually and was stopped and didn't want to flip-flop to a short because I took some losses already. Need to work on that. Gotcha. I don't know if you were here for it, Arrow Fury, but I break down actually how people could long this. The most aggressive, and this is in yesterday's stream too, the most aggressive way, the highest risk possible, is doing what you did. Longing here, stop loss here. The best way is to give it structure. So why, instead of betting that it will bounce from here, why not let it bounce? Change structure, then get in on this one. But this is all in the stream from last night too. But you did the most aggressive thing. The second most aggressive would to actually have let it bounce, make a higher high, you get in on the bullish retest. Or this after the structure change, outside of the zone. Okay? But that's okay. The reason why you want to be careful is because if it fakes out and it goes back in, then that's an easy short. So I actually journaled my emotions and I took that trade to make up for my previous losses just before going to bed. It's good to be honest with myself. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Well, looking at the price action right now, I think we get to see this live together. So if it's going to be a live fill, we'll see it. Does anybody have last minute questions? Everything has been talked about, okay? So everybody should understand what I would want from an open interest perspective. We're starting to get it, okay? But we would still want bottom shorts trapped. Everybody know what structure we're looking at? We even kind of talked about this, where some people are going to try to long this. First mistake. Some people are going to try to get the swing fail. Second mistake. You know? Fuck! But Arrow, that's awesome. That's awesome that you were able to be honest with it. Let me know if you have any questions, Arrow. I really, really, really want you to juice. So let me know if you have any questions. Luke Quiana says, by the way, what about the wick at 64.8? What I would do if I were you, is go, we just talked about this, Luke Quiana, but, make sure you get caught up. Watch the highlights. You're talking about this basically, right? Watch the highlights on when this happened. Okay, and I said it like 20 minutes ago, Luke Quiana, but being able to understand why we put this line here, being able to understand how we read that reaction of that line, that also determines how we're pulling the fib from that low to that high, and that's how it gets us here. Okay, but again, this has been done many, 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 many times. We've done this many, 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 many times. It's all in the highlights, okay? But watch the highlights from October 24th if you really want to know what I thought about that wick. All right. All right, we got 15 minutes until US market open. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's get the US markets open up in the bit. You know what I'm saying? Fred says, holy shit, is 58.9 still a maybe? Sure, anything is possible, Fred. If anybody says this is impossible or this is for sure going to happen, they don't know what they're talking about. Anything is possible. So yeah, anything is possible, Fred. We're going to just take it level by level. The first level of interest would either be 68.4 or down here. So if we're going to go to 58.9 like you were asking, well, it's going to lose this, right? It's going to lose that. It's going to breach through the single prints. It's going to go through that single print. It's going to go through that TPO point of control. And then finally, you're going to land around this single print, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels of interest before we even talk about 58.9. Okay, so it's just level to level, my guy. Yeah, but if you have like a bearish or bullish bias, it will fuck you up more than help you. So it's a lot better to just be objective and just take the data as is, read the data, take a shot in the way the data suggests, manage risk, and then rinse and repeat. Zenpro says, I personally want 64.8. Yeah, so there's two things that I would say to comments like that. One is, it's not really a specific level. It shouldn't matter if it's 65, 65.2, 64.8. Nickel and diming on a $400 or a couple $100 range on an asset that's trading at $67,000, you know, would be pretty foolish, right? It's really more about the data. Whether it's 65 or 64.8 like you want, if the open interest doesn't look bullish, are you still going to long? Are you going to just not look at the data and say, oh, it came to a random level that I wanted, I'm going to long 64.8. I'm not looking at open interest. I'm not looking at CVD. I'm not looking at S&P Blue Gammas. I'm going to just blindly long 64.8. You're not going to do that, right? So identifying a zone is fine, okay? But it's going to come down to the data and how you can read the data, right? So don't get so caught up on what you want. Just make sure that you can read, you can tell if it's actually bullish or bearish. That's all that matters. Sounds good? Pai Bui says, how many million in shorts? Pai Bui, you got to watch the highlights. Did you know that we've already said that maybe 20 times throughout this whole week? Pai Bai, dead giveaway. You're not watching the highlights. And it's okay if you don't want to watch the highlights. Okay, but what that also means is you don't really care to know the answer, right? I would love 40, 50 million, but what is the most common answer, Pai Bai? Have you gone back and looked at the previous lows and seen for yourself how many million in shorts usually get trapped, or are you just gonna ask me and go with that? Did you figure out that you can go back and look at the data yourself? And did you put in the 15 minutes of effort to look at the lows and see how many millions in shorts got trapped? So that was the answer that I gave on Monday. That was the answer that I gave yesterday. That was the answer that I gave Thursday last week. That was the answer that I gave on Friday. Coming up with a question is okay, but the answer is, how can you figure it out for yourself? Okay, so do you only care enough to just ask me that and take my word for it? Or do you actually care enough to figure out the solution and execute yourself? Because you're gonna have questions like that in this game. I wonder this, I wonder that, I wonder why this, why. You need to be able to figure out a solution to be able to figure it out on your own. Otherwise, people that can are gonna completely surpass you in this game. All right, I hope that made sense. So Pai Bai, I would love 40, 50 mil, okay? But what you need to be able to do is, oh, you know what? I can figure this answer out on my own. Why don't I just go to the bottoms and see how many shorts were trapped before? All right, so hey, if you're already longing, I'm rooting for you. If you're, still shorting, I'm rooting for you. I don't give a shit. You already know the deal. All right, I'm rooting for every single one of you lions. Protect your capital, stop loss and profit. Don't be stubborn and prefer to, you know, not get stopped out at a loss then break even. Did I get left at the train station again? Oh shit, that looks like a dick. I don't want to wait for the train station. Should I FOMO? I take a long, I get stopped out. I wait with Kimba, I get left. What's going on?
Not enough Latushi.
Manipulation. Fuck. I'm so hyped up. I still want to do like the Diddy shake. You know? Bach Juice says, is it even safe to long? Hey, make sure you get caught up. The data tells you. All right? So learn how to read this stuff and learn how it can tell you. No guessing, Bach Juice. It is or it isn't. You heard me? Let's go, Lions! Quit playing with me, boy. Bach Juice says, I can't read it. That's okay. All right? You can learn. So I'm here every day for 12 to 16 hours a day, all right? And Bach Juice, I've been doing this for 3 years. You can start watching these, exclamation YouTube. Type exclamation YouTube. Let's go. Sato. Juice, 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 juice. Math is math, bitch. Math is math, bitch. Get my gang, motherfucker. Math. Level to level, bitch. Alrighty. We don't know what's gonna happen yet. We're not in the business of trying to predict the future. There are validations, confirmations that you can wait upon. Increase your probability. Don't nickel and dime over a couple $100 on the entry for any trade, especially if the asset is trading around 66, 67,000. Who gives a shit what your entry is? Wait until you get confirmation, get nasty with it, all right? Manage risk. And yeah, I mean, let me know if you... All right, so 6 more minutes, and then we'll see what it is. If it can't close above the blue line, then the structure is weak. It's not invalidated, but it loses, okay? If it can close above the previous open, even better. So their scenario is, if this closes right here or higher, then that's awesome. Extra bonus points for the bullish trend. If it closes above here, normal. You wish it closed outside of the box, but that's okay. Anything below, you've lost all your bullish edge, so you start over, and it might be a 3 drives. And how cool is, did we not talk about this yesterday and last week? It may happen, it may not. But remember, all I'm doing is just reminding you guys what we've seen together in the past. All right? By start over, do you mean closing the trade and profit? Sure, or just the idea of the bullish narrative, you got to start over with new data. Okay, so there's a lot of this that can help you. Like, how did I know that it was going to dump on that 30-minute candle close? I mean, I didn't, but structure says that you would need to do it. You know, and then if it's really gonna be bullish, in 4 minutes and 30 seconds, that 30-minute candle would close above the previous candle open. If it's just neutral, it'll close above the blue line. A closure below the blue line means that all the bullish sentiment, it's gone and it's reset, and now it has to prove to me again that we should get into a long. All right, Crypto Psychic says how to draw box. We've had this box for how long, chat? Dude, we've had this box for, I don't know. You got to go back to the YouTube highlights and get caught up. But for those of you that have been here from start to finish this week, regardless of what happens on this 30-minute candle close, you guys kind of understand what's going on, who gains what edge, who loses what edge, depending on this candle close and why. Do you guys, there are no shorts that are, I mean, on the bigger time frame, yes, but these shorts are juicing. Okay, so you got to get back towards like 66.5 to even think about starting to short squeeze. All right. So remember all the stuff that we talked about. Don't get got. Nothing blind. Manage your risk. Stick to your plan. All right, and just take it level by level. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this, though, right, chat? So it's another opportunity for you to execute your plan. See what happens. All righty. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the 30-minute candle close. Enjoy. Happy hunting. Let's go, Lions. Show me. Would it be fair to say that regardless of if it goes down or if it goes up, regardless of if you're long or short, regardless of if you're going to take the position or not, I think we're all pretty well prepared. We're planned out. Nothing should really surprise. I mean, you know what would surprise me? If it makes a lower low, right? That would surprise me if we break the box on some crazy 30-minute red dildo, right? Smashing through 68.4 single prints would also be pretty interesting too. But any sort of slow, methodical, mathematical, reasonable, open interest and CVD, reason, like it's not deviating from deviation, it's not going to surprise me. There's going to be $500, $1,000 ding dong bing bongs. Don't get got. Don't be so prideful in your position that you can't see what's happening and you just piss away money for no reason. So, I mean, I'm the captain of Kimba Airlines. I get round tripped all the time, so I really shouldn't be talking. The next 35 minutes, I'm going to just Latuche up. We'll vibe out a little bit. I'm going to pay close attention to the chat. So if there's any last minute questions, I can answer them. But I'm telling y'all, levels to the downside covered, levels to the upside covered, and just read the data to see if there's any reason where you should close your long or short or open a long or short. And that's it. And even if everything looks good, even if you're filled, even if you have Pico top or Pico bottom, don't be prideful. Put your stop loss at break even. Or if you really, really are okay with taking a little tiny L, that's okay too, especially if you're early in the game. If you longed anything in that box, I would think that it's a little bit crazy to let a green trade turn red. I'm just saying. So any long entries within that box, I think it's extremely reckless. Again, there's really no right or wrong and it's your money, but I think from like an EV perspective, that's extremely irresponsible. So just a heads up, okay? I think it would be a lot better to get stopped out, round trip, tiny profit, and then re-enter if it's gonna try to do a bullish retest down there. What do you guys think about this week so far though? It's only just the middle. So Thursday is gonna be a shit show, bing bong ding dong, right? I would love tomorrow to, be a green day, but we got a lot of work to do, right? So let's not get too caught up in positions, bulls and bears. Everybody's looking at that 67.5 TPO next, right? Single print around 68.3, fib levels, volume nodes, volume at 67,000. Y'all know what it is. My mate Net says, I heard there's a new Matrix movie coming out that takes place in testnet. Me too. Me too. And instead of Smith, it's Mario. Mario! My mate Nate says, bro, I would love to go over Fibception quickly. Okay, well, you know what? We're going to do a Nerd Out Saturday on Fibs just alone, and we'll cover more of this in detail. But basically, what I'm giving credit to when I do Fibception is one, the levels that I have to be right? I can't just have random levels and just pull a Fibception from two random levels and hope that they're going to be congruent. So it's foundationally always going to start with the levels. All right. But basically what I'm doing, Nate, with the Fibception is I'm giving it a mathematical sort of threshold. Okay. Obviously, let's say, for example, we've got this, like this to this. Okay. Obviously, the halfway point, if we ever get here, it's, what would you say? Just neutral, right? When we get closer to here, you have a higher chance for that. If we get closer to here, you have a higher chance for that, right? So I'm looking for the tolerance in deviation from a mathematical perspective. If, for example, you were going to put blind limits here, and I would really discourage doing that, Nate, okay? But if you were ever gonna put blind limits, you can use stuff like this, and usually it's gonna be a quarterly stuff. So the golden pocket is nice, but you're usually going to go off of 7.5, 0.5, 0.25. Okay, so in this case, some people would have said, dude, it cannot get to the 7.5, stop loss right here. Some people are going to do like ATR. So the ATR is about $800. So from here to here, you know, 335. ATR is a little bit expensive if you wanted to do a mathematical deviation invalidation. And so you might be thinking to yourself, this is it. But basically it's just like, it starts with, okay, well, if this is the range top and this is the range low, being the halfway point would represent neutrality. So you have the 7.5 and you have the 2.5. So it's really more about what you would allow or what you wouldn't allow. That's it. Sounds good? It's really nothing too crazy. Sometimes it lines up, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, so I mean, just looking at all the liquidity, look at high lever. It really doesn't go beyond 67.8. And then look at Opti. Even Opti kind of has a hard time going really beyond like the 67.8 cluster. Okay, and then when you go to all leverage is when you get introduced to the Burj Khalifa at 68.3-ish. Obviously the 68.3, 68.2 zone not only puts you a little bit past the single prints, but right around the 7.5 and the next volume cluster. So, yeah, this is nice, but we may want to keep an eye on the 68.4, 68.5 zone for a potential thang. I don't think I have to worry about it, but any sort of like goofy top longing would be a pretty big turnoff for me. I still haven't shaved. No, I see you. I haven't either, Andy. Yeah, but we'll keep an eye on that, all right? I haven't shaved off either. We in it strong. Yeah, okay.
I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. I said,
But
strong.
JT and Andy, it would be a bummer if somebody longed 8 million at 68.3, right? And I think that would be a pretty obvious warning sign to be like, hey, we could probably at least expect a pullback to what, the 0.5. So anyways, lots of scalping opportunities and lots of ding dong bing bongs. So one thing's for sure, you don't want to get stopped out of the single print. But I'm glad, you know what the coolest thing is? You guys are juicing. You know that, right? And even aside from the juice part, hey, JT, Andy, this shit kind of making sense, right? It's not some random voodoo bullshit that I've put together. It's really just a compilation of just math and probability, right? And just sprinkling a little bit of, salt-based style risk management. So Andy says, not gonna lie. Andy, you know what I really like about you? And you know why I hooked you up that one time? Because of your honesty. Not gonna lie, the previous long attempt at Bing Bong and this one came with the OI and long reset and top longers punished. I think we are on the line with these confluences. For sure, Andy. One thing to, what is your immediate concern right now, Andy? Is it the 68.3, 68.4? Or is it potentially ding dong bing bong, Tweedledee and Tweedledum top longing around that zone? You can see the bad highs right below the single prints, right? So I think even if it doesn't go all the way up to the 7.5, I think a swing fail, tucking back in, 30-minute candle close would kind of be a bummer to see. I think you want to blast through to 7.5, it pulls back, turns golden pocket into support, and then immediately goes again. Freestyle JT says, I'm feeling better after a few weeks. Awesome. Awesome. Well, even like the structure was nice. So, you know, it wasn't like perfect, but it basically, you know, first approach, low, higher low, structure formation, that's your sign. Oh, Merry Christmas. The 886 longer with a backwards hat. Kind of like Scumbag Steve. I mean, no offense to the 886 longers, but you're kind of like the Scumbag Steve of the Fibonacci player. No offense to 886 longers. Hey, sometimes I'll take it too, but you're kind of like the Scumbag Steve of Fibonacci longers, you know? I'll see you guys tomorrow for US Market Open. Sounds good? Stay safe, y'all. Rest well, Lions. Give yourselves a round of applause. Be proud. Be proud of what went down today. Be proud of your preparation. All right. Hey, I need everybody's best again tomorrow. Let's get after it. Have a great night, y'all.